Ever paid $150 for a pair of Nikes? What if I told you they might have cost less than $15 to make? Today, we're breaking down what really goes on behind the swoosh, from factory floors in Vietnam to Nike's billion-dollar boardrooms. We'll follow the shoe from blueprint to box and show how much or how little goes into making one of the most iconic brands on earth. Pause for a second. Drop your guess in the comments. How much does Nike actually spend to make your favorite sneakers? Don't look it up, just guess. We'll reveal the answer in a minute. And hey, if you like finding out how the world really works, hit that subscribe button. You're about to see Nike like you've never seen it before. Let's rewind. Before the shoe even hits a conveyor belt, it starts with an idea. Step 1. Design and conceptualization. Nike's team in Beaverton, Oregon, brainstorms and sketches out the initial concept. They decide on the target audience, performance, lifestyle, or collector, and then choose from hundreds of design templates or create something brand new. Using 3D CAD software, the shoe is virtually modeled from every angle. This digital twin helps test flexibility, support, and style before a single material is touched. Step 2. Materials and component sourcing. Once the design is approved, the real work begins. The average Nike shoe has 50 to 200 separate parts. That includes midsoles made of EVA or polyurethane, outsoles from rubber compounds, uppers made from mesh, fly knit, synthetic leather, logos and stitching details. Nike sources materials globally: rubber from Southeast Asia, textiles from Taiwan, recycled plastics from suppliers in China. And for eco-conscious lines like Nike Move to Zero, they use recycled polyester and sustainable foam, reducing their carbon footprint. Step 3. Cutting and molding. At the factory, rolls of fabric and rubber are unboxed and moved onto cutting tables. Here's where precision counts. Computer-controlled laser cutters or blade plotters slice each component to exact dimensions, sometimes within 0.1 millimeter tolerance. Next, soles are molded under high heat and pressure in massive hydraulic machines. Each mold can cost up to $10,000 to produce, which is why Nike reuses molds across models. Step 4. Stitching and assembly. This is the most labor-intensive part. Factory workers manually stitch or glue upper components together. The assembled upper is then joined with the molded sole. This process is called lasting, where the upper is stretched over a foot-shaped mold and permanently bonded to the sole. Nike uses both cold cementing and direct injection molding depending on the shoe type. Here's a fun fact. One worker might be responsible for a single operation, like attaching the tongue, for an entire 10-hour shift. Finally, step 5. Finishing touches. Once the shoe is assembled, it heads to finishing. This is where eyelets are punched, shoelaces are threaded, logos are stamped or heat-pressed, inserts and tags are added. Nike also scans every pair through a UV light quality scanner to spot glue residue or stitching defects invisible to the eye. Rejected shoes are either reworked or discarded. Nike's goal is less than 2% defect rate per batch. Labor makes up about $2 to $5. Materials, $10 to $12. Overhead, shipping, taxes, $2 to $3. And the total, roughly $15. And then, that same pair sells in retail for anywhere from $100 to $200, even more for special editions. That's a markup of over 800% in some cases. But wait, you say, what about marketing? Great question. Nike spends nearly $4 billion a year on advertising, including endorsements, campaigns, and social media. So yes, when you pay $150 for sneakers, you're not just buying foam and fabric. You're buying celebrity. You're buying brand mythology. Nike doesn't make its shoes in the US. In fact, not a single factory is owned by Nike. They outsource everything. Nike partners with hundreds of independent manufacturers across Asia. These are the real engine rooms of the brand. As of 2024, here's the breakdown. Vietnam accounts for about 50% of all Nike shoes, followed by Indonesia, 24%, and China, 15%. The other factories include Cambodia, India, Thailand. Nike works with more than 500 factories in 42 countries. One of the largest manufacturers is Po Chen Corporation, headquartered in Taiwan, which assembles millions of Nike, Adidas, and Converse shoes every year. Why Asia? Simple economics. Labor is cheaper, regulations are looser, and infrastructure is already optimized for mass production. Nike's entire business model is built on outsourcing. They focus on design, branding, and marketing, the high-margin stuff, and leave the manufacturing to third parties. That's why Nike's capital expenditures are low. They don't spend money building or maintaining factories. They just place massive orders and ship them to retailers. In 2023, Nike made over $51 billion in revenue. Their net profit? Over $5 billion. To put that in perspective, for every $150 sneaker, about $15 goes to making the shoe, and nearly $60 might be pure profit after other costs. That's why Nike is one of the most profitable brands on earth. The swoosh isn't just a logo, it's a money-printing machine. Now here's the tough part. Nike has faced criticism for decades over working conditions in its factories. In the 1990s, protests erupted over reports of child labor, low wages, and poor factory safety. Images of overcrowded sweatshops haunted the brand for years. Today, things have improved, but challenges remain. Let's take Vietnam again. Many Nike factory workers earn around $250 to $350 a month, working full-time. That's above the local minimum wage, but still a fraction of what the shoes cost at retail. A 10-hour shift is common, overtime is routine, and many of the workers are women. Nike claims to enforce strict ethical codes. They publish factory audits. They've pledged to be transparent. But human rights organizations argue that these audits don't always capture what's really happening on the ground. It's not just about cost, it's about conscience. So why do we still buy Nikes? Think of the stars: Michael Jordan, Serena Williams, LeBron James, Travis Scott. Nike created a brand that blends sport, culture, music, and fashion into one unstoppable symbol. Scarcity also plays a role. Limited drops, collabs, resale value ... Some Nike shoes resell for over $1,000, even though they were made in the same factory as a $70 pair. And that's the brilliance. Nike made shoes into status. You're not just walking in them, you're flexing. Now that you know the truth, will you still buy Nikes? Or do you think companies should be more transparent about their costs? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more deep dives into how the products around you are really made, behind the labels, behind the logos, smash that subscribe button. We've got some shocking stuff coming.